Hi, this is Drewscape, and today I want to show you one of the ways that I create my comics. So one of the projects I've been working on is chronicling my second child's life as a baby. In order to capture all the small moments happening every day, I usually jot it down in my phone or iPad using the Freeform app, just in text form like this. Now, in the Ollie comics where I captured my first child's life as a baby, some comics required more planning like these, so I would carefully do the penciling first and make sure all the details are right before inking them. Of course, that means it takes a lot more time. And there's actually another way. It's where I have a story in mind and I just sit down and just go straight to inking. It oftentimes results in a more free, spontaneous, you could say honest look. And that's the style we're going to go for today, because I don't really feel like so much planning. I'm going to do the inking directly from the script. That's right, I'm going to bypass the penciling stage altogether. Presently, I've been enjoying using dip pens again, so I'm going to use a G-nib in a Tachikawa nib holder with Talon's drawing ink. It's an Indian ink. I'm just going to draw in my sketchbook. As you can see, it's actually quite small. It's just about A5 size. This particular comic is an update comic. It's where I record all the different things that happened during the month, sort of like a best-of collection. For me, drawing with real ink is kind of exhilarating because there's some pressure to get it right on the first time. Yeah, there's no undo button. But I think that makes my mind more decisive when I draw with a dip pen. So in this frame, I have to demonstrate how Ollie makes Toby wears the same thing. And I'm deciding, okay, stripes. And I'm going with that. I'm not really concerned about making it look perfect. In fact, I allow the drawings to be slightly distorted. To me, the imperfection is charming. My main focus is usually to tell the story as clearly and as simply as possible. Toby likes biting. How do I draw this? There are a few angles to draw this. I think I'll draw this from Yvonne's in front and Toby's behind, and he's biting her back. Yes, this really happens. I've seen it a few times. I am writing in the words from the script. Actually, the script thing is a new thing. Previously, I would just write it and draw all at the same time. It requires more brain power. Now I find that writing the script first does make it less stressful. The story is all thought out, and now I just have to concentrate on making the pictures work. Like, what's the best way to show this rolling pose? Sideways? Probably sideways. Apologies, I know my video can be a lot sharper. I think I didn't get the arm right, but there are ways to fix it later. Some of these small things can be fixed digitally after I bring it into Procreate. As I'm writing this, I sometimes think of a better way than how the script says it, so I'll just go for it. This could be slightly complicated to draw, but I find that sometimes drawing loose and small, you can get away with it. It's actually easier to wing it. I also find that when I'm drawing with natural media, when I'm making all these little small mistakes, it actually looks fine. But when I'm drawing digitally and I make the same mistakes, it just looks like a mistake. Don't know about you, but that's what I've noticed. Oops, okay, that head part, that mistake is a bit too obvious, and that I can't leave it. I'll fix it later, probably digitally. Yeah, Ollie and I have been watching Rocky. I believe the first movie was released in 1976 and it was entirely shot on film before there was digital editing. And I was quite amazed at how nice the colors looked, and also just as amazed that Ollie would enjoy a 1976 movie. For me, I think what makes it work is just good storytelling. I think that applies to comics too. I've read comics where the art wasn't that great, but the story was amazing and I still had an amazing experience reading it. That's why I'm always learning how to tell better stories. So now Ollie's a kind of a boxing fan, and she made a boxing gym. So I have to draw what she did. She used a pillow stuffed in swimming floats, so she could use it as a punching bag. But as I drew this, I realized, oh no, her arm is not making contact with the punching bag. I should have drawn her closer. So this is a good example of, I can show you what I do when I make a big mistake like this. I certainly don't want to leave the picture like this, it just doesn't work. So a simple solution, just redraw the picture on another piece of paper, preferably a similar paper, because I want the ink bleed to bleed the same way. And this time, I'm going to make sure the arm is in contact with the pillow. Now adding impact lines. I also realized that she actually added cushions underneath the float, so I'm going to add that in this time. So I'll just continue with the comic and I'll replace that picture later on. Now I don't usually add descriptors like these in my comics. I believe in letting the picture tell the reader what the object is. So I try my best to draw the objects as clearly as possible, but sometimes if it still isn't clear enough, I think it's good to add some descriptors, but not too much because it does slow down the reading. Now I noticed for this last part, I didn't follow the script. The last part of the script says Ollie has been making terrariums, and it felt like it didn't close the comic nicely enough. I felt like it needed to round out with something conclusive about the boxing. So I ended up elaborating more about the results of watching Rocky, and which is she's been trying to work out, like do push-ups, sit-ups. In this case, I remember her asking me to hold her legs so that she could do sit-ups one morning. So that's what I'm drawing. So we can learn that actually a spontaneous comic or a spontaneous looking comic does still require a lot of decision making. But the decisions are made as I'm drawing it, rather than before I'm drawing it. So perhaps that changes the look and feel of the entire comic. So now I'm going to paste over the drawing where I made that mistake. I'm just using white glue that I got from Daiso. So as I'm pasting, I just realized that, oh no, I didn't leave enough room for the words to stand out. And so I have to go fix that later. So I decided to put the words above the picture this time because I felt it works better. So what do? I just stick another piece of paper over on top, and I'm just going to write on that piece of paper. I thought I'll just add one more thing to end the comic that extends out of watching Rocky. She now likes listening to 80s music. That's how I create a comic with a looser look, just by taking out the penciling stage. To complete the coloring stage, I took a picture and edited it on Procreate on the iPad and colored it. This is how it finally turned out. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this helpful.